And we continue to follow breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. The 76ers have suspended Ben Simmons for their very first game against the Pelicans. It is tomorrow night, the NBA opening the season tonight there. Now, he was suspended, according to reports, for conduct detrimental to the team. Of course, Ben Simmons over the summer held out for quite a while, saying he never wanted to play for the 76ers ever again. Finally reported to camp to the 76ers in preseason there on October 11th. This is video of him at practice yesterday, where a lot of people described it as lackadaisical. You see him there standing at the very back of the huddle. Once that is done, he is the very first player into the locker room. We spoke to our Avery Johnson, who says, look, he doesn't want to be there, and they should enforce him to. I'm Amanda Guerin. Let's welcome in CBS reporter Michael Kaskey-Blomain, who was there at the 76ers practice. He joins us on the phone. Michael, what can you tell us about what happened today?
Yeah, I think what happened today was a culmination of things since Ben has returned to Philadelphia last week. What we're able to see of the actual practice is limited, but the reports that have surfaced over the past few days is that Ben has been, basically consistently unengaged, or like you said on the lead-in, kind of lackadaisical at practice, which, to be frank, is kind of to be expected. Obviously, he didn't want to be there. His return to Philadelphia was, completely motivated by money and the fact that, the team was withholding his pay for the preseason games that he had missed so far. So, the situation is still very far from being resolved just because Ben is back in Philadelphia. It's certainly not a smooth situation now where the team can move forward. This is, I think, just potentially the first step in a situation that's going to continue to be ongoing. Ben still hasn't changed his stance that he doesn't want to be with the Sixers anymore. And behavior like this could potentially continue until, a trade is ultimately made.
Since you're there, and you've been around this team, you mentioned the practice that you do see is a bit minimal. They have a curtain. They only open it up for a few minutes at the end there. But what do you think the feeling is around the other teammates? They open their season tomorrow in New Orleans there. Is he and his behavior affecting the rest of the team right now?
They'll tell you that it's not, but I personally just don't see how that could be the case, especially for a team that's entering the season with legitimate, championship hopes and expectations, a team that was the best seed in the Eastern Conference during the regular season last year. This is a team that would have loved to come into the season being able to bring back the same roster and try to improve on what ultimately ended up being an underwhelming performance in the postseason last year, where they were upset by the Atlanta Hawks. And instead of the conversation being about how this team can improve and how they can take the next step, basically since they were eliminated in that postseason series, the entire conversation around the team has been dominated by Ben Simmons and his future in Philadelphia. And at this point, having him in Philadelphia and having, obviously people like the media members and everything talking and focusing on Ben so much, I think it has to be a distraction to an extent. During training camp, Joel Embiid expressed some frustration, said he thought it was, kind of a disrespectful, kind of a distraction. And I have to imagine that that's how a lot of the players feel. Publicly, they're saying all the right things to the media members and saying that they hope to have Ben back for the season. They're a better team with him and things like that. But the thing is, they're a better team with him when he's playing to his full potential. I don't think, obviously, they're a better team when he's not playing up to his potential and serving as a distraction. So for me, I definitely think this is something that's kind of looming over and hanging over the heads of the players as they're, getting ready to open the season tomorrow night.
Michael, we were talking to Avery Johnson just a couple minutes ago, and he said from a coach's perspective, he thinks the best thing to do is just tell Ben Simmons to stay at home for the next little while. So he's not there. He's not around the team, kind of, bring that toxic attitude, as you alluded to there, to the team until they can find a trade offer. What do you think happens next with him?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it's going to be, really fascinating. Obviously, I think the Sixers all along want Ben Simmons to be out on the floor with them. I think, best case scenario for the Sixers organization is that he understands in the short term that he has to make the best case out of the situation, that really it's the Sixers that are in control, given the fact that, Ben still has 4 years remaining on his contract. He's under contract. In that contract, obviously, it says he has to play games unless he has an excused injury from the team doctor, which at this point is not the case. So it's going to be an interesting situation. If Ben is potentially willing to forfeit more money, perhaps the team will send him away and he'll return to California and await a trade from there. Or perhaps he'll kind of get in order and be a member of this team in the short term. I think obviously this suspension today was kind of a wake-up call for Ben and the Sixers, showing that they still, have control in the situation and they're not going to play by his rules, for, lack of a better word. So I think moving forward, the ball's in Ben's court, no pun intended, to see, how he wants to take this, and it'll be obviously very interesting.
Like you said, maybe it's a wake-up call, maybe not. We'll see. Michael Kaskey-Blomain, who was there at the 76ers practice. I know it was very quick, so thank you for hopping on the phone with us. We appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having me on.
And the Philadelphia 76ers, he mentioned championship hopes for them, 18-1 odds to win the title. Their season again begins tomorrow in New Orleans. But tonight, these are the games you get. These are the 4 teams with the biggest odds to go ahead and win the NBA championship. You get the Nets at the Bucks, the Warriors at the Lakers. The Bucks will receive their championship rings tonight before tip-off.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.